Imagine there's no heaven above us. There's no hell below us. Ken, the song's Imagine. We're not going to sing it for the kids because they've had enough of that this week. It's just you and me and everybody out there in the world of YouTube. Hello and a happy Thursday to everyone watching right now. Thanks for tuning in to our live stream. This is episode 2. Episode 0 was a test that more than enough people witnessed. And then myself and my good friend Danny Fernandez teamed up for a little calming of the masses. And now I bring in the one, the only, the pit boss. And boy, do we need a pit boss in Los Angeles right now. He is Ken Napzok. Ken, say hello to the kids.
In the middle of the night, I call your name. Oh, Yoko. Are we doing John Lennon songs?
We're doing all of Double Fantasy. So you do the Lennon stuff, I'll do the Yoko stuff.
Perfect. Man, I am thrilled to be here. This is Not Water, live from downtown Burbank. Having fun here.
I'm going to crack this open for all of y'all out there. And as we now do on every one of my streams that I'm not going to drink on every stream, but a fair amount of them. So I just hold the beer up to the chat and then I'm looking you in the eye. So there we go.
That's great.
You know what? That 7 years of bad sex hitting you. So, Ken, what we're going to do is dive into a number of different topics. This is really the first time you and I have gotten to catch up since the world changed. And we'll talk about our feelings on that, what we've done differently this week than we have in the past, and what we're planning in the future. And then we're also going to hang out with everybody in the live chat because this is just one big hangout. And that's all that we can really hope for at this point. We're not in your living room, because that's illegal. We're maintaining a safe distance, but we're here with you on the interweb. So, Ken, the week, it's been a lot. Where do you want to start?
Man, I got to tell you, I want to just start about trying to forage for supplies. And right before we went live on air, a box of toilet paper arrived from Staples. And I had to jump off camera and freak you out, Mark, to go run to make sure I could pull it in from the front porch, lest it be stolen by hooligans. I mean, this is what the times we're living in.
I mean, I feel like part of us as a society have been trained for a moment like this. The Walking Dead ratings indicate as much. I mean, we're not quite there where we're fighting people in the streets and shooting strangers. But, okay, why do you what's the strategy behind ordering toilet paper from Staples?
Alternate sources of toilet paper. Everyone was making a run on the typical places. I went to the places that you wouldn't think. 7-Eleven, of course, I would think. I went there. Local liquor stores and the Best Western Stouffville Inn, where I stole 2 rolls from the room I was staying in there. You got to think outside the box in the end times.
It's funny because I've been working on a lot of new bits because I'm working on the new hour, and then that's going to have to take a hiatus because of this, but I had a bit about like the Aaron Hernandez documentary and how, everybody thought that what he did was so vile and disgusting, except Netflix loved it because now they get to make more true crime stuff. And it's like murder is interesting. There's a lot of uninteresting crime. And I've committed uninteresting crimes, such as stealing rolls of toilet paper from NBC Universal. And I just started doing that joke, and now everybody's stealing toilet paper.
It's what it is. It's what it is. Because the bad thing is we've been doing some traveling. Went to Las Vegas with you, of course, and we had this pre-planned, prepaid for 2 nights kind of stay at Disneyland down in Anaheim and with a friend of mine who took me and Grace early for my birthday. And we definitely weighed, do we cancel, do we not? And at the time, Wednesday morning, it was like, I think we're going to be good. I did some research. We were prepared. We went down. And then when we were down there, I'm looking at the phone in the hotel room as we're waiting to go out to dinner at Downtown Disney. NBA, canceled. Baseball, canceled. Life, canceled. I'm like, yeah, all right. So we risked it. But the problem was at home, we had no supplies because we had been traveling and we had used everything down to the point of a near zero because we thought we'd come back and go shopping. So that was where our panic was.
Yeah, I was looking at a bunch of social media stuff today, as everybody's been doing all day. Like it's the social media numbers have been insane for everyone. And you and I were joking before we went to air. Everybody and their grandma is now starting a podcast, is now starting a live stream. It's just a matter of who actually wants to keep it up because it's really fun in a pinch. It's a really fun hobby, but to make it a career, like what you and I have done for the better part of the last 10 years. Do you sustain that? Do you keep going, or is this just in times of crisis we all get on our proverbial trucker CBs and reach out to the world to see if anybody out there is listening.
We are all preppers right now, living in a primetime kind of era. This is it. Yeah, look, I think everyone should create a show, get a show, be creative. It's community. Time will tell. Professionally, broadcasters are broadcasters, and we'll keep going. It is what it is. I'm not mocking anyone, but it's like you see a lot of these shows like, I'm live. Ask me about dogs. We try to be. We're shows. We're entertaining.
Reenacting word for word my first, second, and third live stream this week.
No, don't get me wrong. Me too, because it's this. So I got the wrong camera. I got the different. I even switched cameras. I got this other camera here, so I can kind of look at that. Look at that New Hope poster, buddy. Look at that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
But we're trying to get that beautiful Mark Ellis Van Halen style logo in that corner there. Look at that.
Yeah. Thanks to Trey Bennett, good Indiana kid for Purdue kid. Went to Purdue for mocking that up for me. So my decorations are I got the Roddy Piper bubblegum soda, given to me by the legend himself, and then I also had this cool Rise of Skywalker. This was the premiere invite that they sent out.
Nice.
So that's nice. I got that, and then I put the bubblegum soda on top of it. So.
Okay, I can do that. I've got a Zori Bliss little mini Funko Pop.
Ooh.
I stole these coasters from Oga's Cantina at Galaxy's Edge, and I've got to get my real ID. Okay, there we go.
Okay, well, that's something that I want to ask you about in just a minute. And just because this is the first time that Ken and I have gotten a chance to really catch up, I do have like a law enforcement kind of question to ask him. But before I get to that, Ken, I will be honest with everybody. The thumbnail of this show was not just Ken Napzok, and I wasn't in it. I might have been the guy that took the picture, but it's the legendary photograph of Ken Napzok and Josh McCouga at one of Maria Menounos' raging parties in Encino. And one of them shirtless and one of them's not.
Thank God
they both have sunglasses. They look great. Josh McCouga wanted to be here tonight. Unfortunately, he had pressing issues. And by pressing issues, I mean he was getting drunk and doing his taxes at the same time. But Ken, I think that Josh is participating in the chat to some degree. So Josh, if you're watching, hi, we love you. I can't wait to give you a hug in about 12 weeks.
Yeah, he is there watching, chatting along. I feel for him. He had a remote tax appointment. I know because I got one next week. Same guy, same tax guy, and at least you can be home to drink while you do your taxes in that situation, I guess.
I filed my extension in January. I told my tax guy as soon as the new year starts, I'm like, go ahead and put it off. It's because when you work as a comic, a lot of times you get your 1099s in like July and like the following, and you can never catch up. So I already got the extension in place, but it's such a it's such a hard thing to like wrap your mind around that. Right. I have all this free time now, and yet I still don't want to even think about doing my taxes.
This last year was the first year I used a tax guy. Before that, I had an easy job, and it was just like, get the 1040 easy form, click, I'm done. And, I have 17 different jobs, as a lot of us in the entertainment industry do. So this is boring tax talk. Anyways, hi, Josh. That picture you took at the pool,
we think it was me. I'm taking credit for it. I think it was either me or Kathy Kelly.
No, Kathy Kelly was drunk dancing with a friend of hers, and it was a very interesting afternoon. No, it was you. It was you. I remember you taking the photo. And
maybe that's what you guys were observing from afar, because you guys both. I mean, when I look at that photo, I think these are two future Jedi staring off into the twin suns of Tatooine, about to embark on this great adventure known as the Afternoons podcast.
So that was 2014, long ago. I can't believe 6 years podcast since 2012. That's insane. Josh and I weren't as close. We didn't know each other yet then. We were becoming closer friends, and that was one of the times. You look at that shirtless McCouga there, all sleek and tanned up, and you got me, and I had shown up in a neon workers construction vest as a joke that didn't go over with anyone there at the party. So I took it off, and it was a hot day. JT was getting drunk. Ruvalcaba was getting drunk. Cobster back then. It
Always
was
a
a
good
fun
time.
time. I barely
Yeah.
remember some of the details though, but I do
Yeah.
remember that picture. Who knew?
It's,
Who knew?
one of our many great party experiences. I want to get into the Vegas recap with you. I listened to your podcast, by the way.
Oh, that's a first.
Your Saturday night special. The whatever Saturday night road tripping, I think is what it was. By the way,
Saturday
everybody,
Night
check out
Napzok.
the
Yeah.
Napzok Files. What's it called?
I have a show now called Saturday Night Napzok on the Napzok Files podcast feed. Usually I'll release it. It's like a bi-weekly, or when I get around to it, we'll change that. But it's just a little looser, bringing some character stuff. I love doing character stuff, but I know that's not the favorite for everyone on podcasts. So I just kind of squish it all down into there, and also just talk a little looser because it's Saturday night. You know what I mean?
So your Saturday night show is the only place that fans can cross their fingers and hope that Captain Fantastic shows back up.
Okay. Yes, Captain Learning. No,
Captain Learning. Sorry.
Yeah, I think Collider Video owns that property outright. So we'll have to come up with something else. Sergeant Education.
Say hi to everybody in the chat. Eddie Haskell, Ed Harrell is his actual Christian name, I believe, and he's always been such a great fan and a great I'll say oracle of sorts, because he's the one that I kind of lean on him and John Mariano to tell me, hey, when's a good time to live stream? When's not a good time to live stream? Because there's so many people, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I know you have your John Rokas and your Roxy Stryers and your Janine Bryces of the world that are doing their own shows, and I don't want to step on their territory, because we're all just kind of forging for it. Really, it's like the YouTube landscape now, and live streaming is like electronic toilet paper, and we're all just trying to hoard our little spot and say, no, I claimed the 4 p.m. on Tuesday spot. So I just want to make sure I'm not stepping on anybody's toes right now. I can't reveal myself to be Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs of New York just yet, Ken. I have to wait a couple weeks before I can do that.
This is the gold rush of the live stream age. This is my property here. Eddie is one of the greats. Eddie is one of the great supporters. So is John Mariano. So is everyone in chat. I've seen Kyle Harlow, Will McLean, Paul Denuzzo, a lot of people.
Paul Denuzzo.
Paul with one of the greatest mustaches in the business there. I wish I was more like you. I'll confess, Eddie and I were talking. He's like, hey, if you're doing some Twitch streams and stuff, let us know. We can schedule it out so you don't step on other people's toes. And I was like, beep them. No, it's my stream. They can go to boop and stick it up there. Boop. My stream. I'll stream when I want. So you're better human than me.
Well, eventually it's going to get to that point, like Paul said in the chat. He's popping in now saying hi, and then he's probably going to do his own stream or do something else, and then he's going to come back and watch. So look, we welcome it all. This is not one of those shows where I need everybody to watch, and I need everybody to participate in the chat. I welcome all of it. I love to see all of it, but there's no need or method to donate, and that is by design. Not that other shows don't use it or it doesn't affect other shows, but I think that your money can be better spent elsewhere, to the point where I actually had a great time on Tuesday night doing my first virtual bar trivia, giving some of you folks some cash, like the Joker at the end of Batman 1989, just throwing money out because it was fun. It was fun for me. It was a nice outlet for all of us. And it was a good time, Ken. And I got to tell you, I was surprised at how many different people won. I thought you'd have like 3 or 4 ringers, but I think there were 2, Peggy Gubins and Bobby G, not Bobby Gucci, but Bobby G, each got 3 questions right over the span of 2 rounds. And then everybody else was pretty much a one-hit wonder. And it's like, you have so many people that are so knowledgeable about a great many things.
Did our friend Kyle Harlow win? I thought I saw Kyle tweet out that he won.
Kyle Harlow did. He won one of the personal questions. So I did 2 rounds, and we're doing this again on Saturday. And maybe if I can twist Ken's arm, he can join me for virtual bar trivia. It'll be my money, Ken's, but you can come and announce it.
I can try to get some other prizes in there or something too. I'm happy to help contribute. I might need to sell some devices to live soon, but I got some extra Star Wars posters or something. We could do something.
Well, that's a question I have for you. Is like all of this stuff we have. Like I'm sitting on a gold mine, or what used to be a gold mine, of Magic the Gathering cards. You have a bunch of like Star Wars Black Series toys, or figures, whatever you call them, that have never been opened, and those were worth money 4 weeks ago. Are they still worth anything? I dare say now is not the best time. It's not a seller's market out there on eBay for collectibles.
It's probably not. I think we're going to see where this settles. We very well could see money go away forever and just goods and services be the currency of the time. It might be time to can you trade 3 bottles of Jack Daniels for a steak? That might be the money going forward. So I don't know. I hope so because I'll tell you what. I'll pledge right now. You invite me on the show Saturday, and we'll have a grand prize winner. I'll give them a autographed copy of Why We Love Star Wars. We'll mail it out to them.
Ooh.
Donating that right now.
Of Why We Love Star Wars. Okay. Yeah. Then you and I are going to have to
hook up. Book I wrote. I wrote that book.
I'm more of a movie watcher. More of a movie watcher than a reader. Yeah. I was joking around with our buddy, very funny comic, Steve Byrne, who's doing a lot of fun live streams too. He lent me the one book that I'm going to read during this thing, which is The Wild and Crazy Guys.
Yeah.
It's called Wild and Crazy Guys, and it's about all the big comedy stars of the 80s. It's just kind of the life and times of those characters. That's exactly what do you have it?
I got it because Steve had given it to you at the Rise of Skywalker press screening.
Right, but I still have my copy.
Yeah, so I ordered it because it's next, and it's next on my list to read.
Scare me like that, man. Yeah, it's the book I'm going to read. Let me ask you, Ken, what have you been doing this week?
Sounds flippant. Nothing's changed. Grace and I have been working from home since January 2018. So the only thing that's different is a sense of dread over us. Everything, our work order is the same. We're pretty good at working at home and working at home in the same spot together. And I see a lot of people trying to come to terms with that, which I had to do when I got laid off. It's the first time I was without a job since, I was like 22. And then I moved to LA during that time. So this time, you have to set schedules, you have to take breaks, you have to really kind of pace yourself. You start to forget what day it is, what date, what day. So for us, we're going. We're just like, okay, everyone's joining our party, but that sense of like I say, I forage. I literally all right, honey, I'm gonna go to the liquor store on San Fernando and Olive. If I don't return, send help. It's just kind of crazy.
And you see people who are adapting very well to what the new situation is, but then you also have I'm looking at a comment from one of our good friends, Kristen Smith, who says working from home is great when you know how to handle it. And for people like her, it's a totally different world because she has a family. She has a little one. She's got a husband, and it's like when you have a family unit, that's such a different dynamic than it just is what I do. And what I do, by the way, is very different than what Ken and Grace do because that's coexisting with another human being. I occasionally have the dog come over and I get to hang out with Molly, and I'm good friends with Molly's mom, but it's like to have other life forms rely on you and to be reliant on them during a time of crisis it seems very different. And I think that's where I'm able to kind of separate myself from everybody else, Ken.
Yeah, look, sometimes, over the last few years, I look at you and your 75-inch TV and hey, Ellis has got this down. But this is a situation right now where I'm really reminded of how honored and blessed I am to have a great partner in my life who kind of gets me through this tough time and vice versa, and just to keep each other sane. I am a very don't panic kind of person. I've been in stressful situations. I'm just kind of the nickname that Josh McCouga gave me of Kenny No Bothers is true for better or worse at times. It doesn't mean I'm not informed. Doesn't mean I'm not taking this seriously. But it's been nice. It was already nice. Let's be clear about that. But it's in these times, it's worked out for me. So you're welcome to come over, Mark, and stay in the back shed if you need some support.
Well, I might hit you up in a couple of weeks for your gym because I know you have a home gym. And as much as I do enjoy working out and accompanied with that is the workout videos, I don't want to go to my gym just yet because look, here's the thing. I feel great. I don't know if I have the thing. And I'm not showing symptoms, but I want to give the thing to somebody else. So I don't really want to go outside more than I have to. I work out from home, and I figured out a really good way to work out from home, but I don't have any weights. I don't have any free weights. So getting that bulk is what I'm going to be missing. But here's the other thing. Here's the flip side of that is that I don't eat as much. So if I'm not working out as much, I'm not going to eat as much. And here's the fun thing about not eating as much. I'm conserving food in there. I have some meats, I have some produce, all that good stuff, non-perishables, but I'm not eating as much. And so Ken, when you don't eat as much, I don't know if you knew this about science, like 2 of these gets you right where you want to be.
That is nice.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
You cut 800 calories out of your daily diet. You got a couple Coors Lights, and you're flying. It's great.
That's what you need. Look, I'll tell you what. I've been mocked. I've been mocked for having a home gym. I have one in the garage. I had one in the apartment. I've always stressed home workouts, and sometimes I get made fun of. Sometimes, people, why are you wasting your garage on this? Who's laughing now? I might start renting it out, $100 an hour. I'll cut you a deal, Ellis. Don't you worry. But there's some people on my timeline and my Twitter and Facebook feed that I'm like, 100, 150, clean yourself up, come over in a hazmat suit. I might let you use it. It's been fun having a gym, yeah.
Yeah, Jenny Lawson, who's a great fan, just commented in the chat that she works for a church, and so working for a church is tough right now because you can't have a big gathering, and then also if a lot of your parish is older folks, then they may not be as computer savvy to watch like online sermons and stuff like that. So this thing's hitting everybody a little bit differently. And I can only speak to my personal experience where everybody looks at me and they say, oh, well, Mark, you love being at home by yourself watching movies anyway. And a lot of that's true, but the bulk of my income is still performing in front of crowds of people. So not having that, a number of things have been canceled. And I don't want anybody to weep for me because trust me, I'm doing just fine. But there's a lot of people that rely on social gatherings to make their income. And those people have been, hit pretty hard.
Yeah, look, it is a reality. Right now, the entertainment industry is gone. Not even stopped. It's gone. It'll come back. We hope. We don't know.
Movies, movie studios, TV productions.
Productions have shut down. And if you think that's just the actors, directors, writers, go watch, say, like a documentary, The Skywalker Legacy, that just came about Rise of Skywalker.
Is it good? I've heard great things.
It's beautiful. Force Center, we just did an almost 3-hour breakdown of it. It's very insightful. I absolutely love that movie. You love that movie. So we don't need to go down that discussion path here on YouTube. But it's spectacular. Great. But you see the Aki Festival of the Ancestors scene on Pisana where all the creatures are dancing and everything, where they meet Lando. That was thousands of people involved in that, from concept to production. That's a lot of jobs gone, and that's what's going on in this town. And that's not even counting some of the restaurants, bars, security friends. One of my friends, he's a lobby security professional at an industry-related building, and he's a little older, and so his doctor said, I don't know if you should come in. So he told his company, and they were like, great, you're done, file for unemployment. And that's what I'm more afraid of, the humans than the zombies right now. Not that the zombies aren't a threat. And for us, don't cry for me either. I'm going to make ends meet. But I've already lost some gigs. Like I mentioned, my baseball column's wrapping up. Unfortunately, got about two left, and we're going to call it a day on that. We'll figure it out. We'll persevere. Just health is important. But that's the thing that's scary right now. Hey, we're serious. We're serious tonight.
Okay, we're going to do one more quick serious question, and I swear I'm going to get off this because, folks, look, I don't love talking about this stuff, but when you have a crowd control, a law enforcement expert like a Ken Napzok on your show, you got to, and I guess this is our show. This is not my show. It just happens to be on my channel because I'm a attention whore. Is that, Ken, this new thing in LA, this, what was the name of the new directive? Does that mean anything different for all the folks watching out there who might have it come to their community if they don't live in California?
There is something that's going on. I see people even chat addressing it there. It's a safe at home thing, but I'm trying to see if there's anything more additional to what right before we broadcast. It's a safe at home thing, and my hometown got put on a shelter in place thing. If you read the fine print, I don't necessarily think right now it's a big change. It's just asking you, to safer at home is the way to go. Check yourself where you got to go out. But this will affect more businesses. But I don't know the whole picture. I haven't had a chance to read it in detail right now. So this is gone. A tweet just came out. Governor announces statewide stay-at-home order in response. But if you read it, It doesn't mean, you can't go for that walk or you're going to go to banks and gas. All the essential stuff is up. It's just driving home. I keep saying this. You mentioned, I was a director of public safety for 17 years, and I dealt with a lot of serious things that people don't understand happens at that job. And a lot of them, bomb threats, evacuations, the safety of 20,000 people was in my hands a lot. And you're always going to err on the side of safety, and you're always going to have to make decisions based on information you can't let other people have. And it's hard to trust in this situation. It's hard to trust the government. I understand when someone's up there saying some things that maybe don't ring true, but I think there's some reason to believe that there's a reason they're doing this, and you just got to kind of trust it, follow it. If we can last 3 weeks, we'll see where we are, and then hopefully we go from there. That's all I can really say on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I've tried to live by the safer at home thing anyway. And everybody in the chat room. First of all, Jenny chimed in again. She said that luckily her and her sister are living with her parents right now. That's my dream. Ultimately, is to move back in with my mom back home. Like after this whole thing lifts and I get a couple more years and maybe another special of stand up under my belt, I'm just going home to live with Ma. Hopefully she's moved away from Virginia and now she's in Florida and I can just live on the golf course there and just do the role that I've always seen myself as, Ken. Look, maybe I'm an okay stand-up comedian or trivia show host. I want to be an idiot's son. That's what I know I'm good at. I want to be like 2 intelligence levels above Sling Blade, and that's what I think I can do the best in my life. And if anybody out there wants to join me when I move back in with my mom, then y'all are welcome because it's going to be Party City, and my mom is cool with it.
When is that call made? I've had some conversations with Grace about this. Like my parents live about 2.5 hours north. It's a small town, Arroyo Grande, but it's pretty populated. Grace's parents live in northern Arizona area, and it's a little less populated. And I'm like, when do we make that call to pack up the babies and grab the old ladies and head on out to the bunker? When do we make that call? What is the order? And it's like a movie, but it's serious. You have to wonder. You have to wonder when the alien hits the ground and Tom Cruise is looking at the crack in the asphalt, when do you run? And the guy going, where's that crack? That crack's getting bigger.
Where do you run to? Because look, we all want to think, and as much crap as I give the movie Batman v Superman for Martha and all that the stupid stuff at the end, I love that shot at the beginning where Bruce Wayne, he just left like a meeting and nobody knows he's Batman, he's Bruce Wayne, and he sees like this weird alien fly into this building down the street, and then everybody's panicking and everybody's running one way, and then Bruce Wayne is running the other way to go fight. And I'm like, everybody thinks that would be them in that situation. I'd love to think I would be, but I would probably be heading for the hills. So my question to you, Ken, do you have a person? Because I got somebody in mind. Do you have a person? Do you have a place that when the aliens attack, where are you going for safety? I know where I'm going. Where are you going? Are we going to the same place?
No, I am locally blessed to have many good friends, close friends of mine who are in law enforcement and have stuff at their houses that would be useful that other people don't have. So,
Fair.
And that's been during Y2K, which a lot of remember, it's a joke now, but we didn't know. And I talked about that a little bit in some Napzok Files podcast, but we didn't know. And I was on duty and I was in our office at the stroke of midnight from 99 to 2000. I was there with 6 LAPD officers from Devonshire Division, about 7 or 8 staff members, one of my bosses. And we were literally, and mind you, the world hit midnight, other parts of the world, but you don't think about that. And we're watching Dick Clark going, our plane's going to start dropping. We didn't know. And it was terrifying. It was terrifying. You didn't know. So I back then I had a friend who was like, something happens, I'm up. You get to my house. Yeah. You get to it. So I still have that friend in my life.
I got a great Y2K story. So the place I'm going is I'm tagging along with Roger Craig Smith, and I'm going to his place in wherever Wyoming, Idaho, wherever the hell that guy.
He's up in Idaho.
Yeah, he's got a log cabin set up there. That's why. First of all, hang out with Roger Craig Smith during the apocalypse because he's endlessly entertaining. He's super quick. He does a bunch of voices. He can act out whatever movie you want him to act out by himself. And then he also happens to have a nice cabin with amenities that are in a remote location. So he's my number one. If we're doing a fantasy draft of apocalypse housers, he's my number one pick.
I absolutely think that's a great idea. In fact, I no joke, had texted him about 3 or 4 days ago, and I was like, "I'll meet you up there. I'll bring some food and some toilet paper, but I might have to get up there just because, just some of the craziness." J Dog is in the chat. He says you'll get this reference, Ellis. Follow me to freedom. So,
Yes.
Charlie,
Great baseball announcer Charlie Steiner back in
Steiner.
his ESPN days. It's one of the all-time best ESPN commercials. So, okay, my Y2K story is this.
Yeah.
So back in the day, we used to go out to a friend from because I was in high school. So a friend from high school, what her family had this like big farm in Tuano, which is like kind of the dregs of outside of Williamsburg, Virginia. It's like it's all farmland out there, so it's very remote and rural. And every New Year's, huge New Year's Eve party at the Steele residence.
All right.
And so we'd all go out there, and we're all underage, we're drinking, we're getting hammered, and all this stuff. And it's Y2K. And people are a little worried. They're a little nervous. But Ken, as you know, when you're a teenager, and I didn't drink much in high school. I did not drink much. But on this occasion, I felt like it was worth it. We're out there, and as soon as that first beer hits your lips, back in the day, you turn into Frank the Tank, and you don't care about the world ending.
So
you don't.
When it hits your lips, it's so
you just want to party. You want to rage. So we went from worrying about Y2K to having the best New Year's to the stroke of midnight. It happens. Nothing else happens. And then Mark Ellis had one of his very first makeout sessions at like 12:05 right after that. So the year 2000 started off with a bang. Not a literal bang. We didn't make it that far, but like a second base. I got to second base as we went into the year 2000. So good millennium kickoff for this guy.
I did not. I'll tell you, one of my only things I remember from Y2K that night. So my shift was started at 7 p.m. I'd worked about 3 a.m. every day back then. It was like my first 2 years on the job there. And I got in, and they had the news on in the lobby. And I'll never forget, they're like, a new president elected in Russia, Vladimir Putin. And I went, man, that's ominous. We're about 4 hours from the world ending, and who's this Putin guy? I hope that's not a problem.
I miss Yeltsin. I miss the fun drunk guy.
Yeah. I miss Boris Yeltsin. We'll take down all the American problems. We'll be friends. And then here's Putin like, I was KGB. I ride horse shirtless. It's time for frivolities with America to end.
There's a guy that I'm going to tell you offline that Putin reminds me of, and it's going to be very funny for both of us.
I love offline humor.
So my buddy is actually in the chat from high school, Jackson Holland. He says that's a lie. Jack, it's not a lie. It happened at Jordan Steele's house. I'm pretty sure it was Y2K year too. And Jack's saying it's a lie. It was not. You remember we used to go out to Jordan's place every New Year's Eve. We went out there, and I don't think she'd mind me saying her name. Karen Dugan. Made out with Karen Dugan. We're still good friends.
First of all, Jackson Holland wrote a great album in 1972 with J.D. Souther. That was You Gotta Hear to Believe. Why is he calling you Bike Boy? What's that story?
Because
that's a lie, Bike Boy.
Because Bike Boy was my nickname in high school from a very small faction of assholes who are also my closest friends. Because I was the runt of the litter, so to speak, because I was born kind of the latest in the year. So Doug, and who introduced me to Harloff, everybody met in Atlanta, and Jack and Harv and all my close friends, they all had their birthdays during the school year. And then I was born in July. So you're kind of one of the last ones to get your driver's license or to get your driver's permit. Yeah. So while they got, to drive their parents' cars, they got their own car, I was still riding my bike everywhere. And so if we're going to see a movie and we're meeting a gaggle of girls there, Jack, we're meeting our Lofgrens or our Selby's or whoever it is, everybody else would ride their car, and I would have to ride my bike. And I should not.
Clink, 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 clink.
Most of the times, my friends were cool and they gave me a ride to these kind of places. But there were a few times when Doug and Jack knew that there's going to be girls there, and they're like, "Let's make Elvis ride his bike." So I did ride my bike.
That's a great scene. That's a great scene from Stranger Things season 1.5. of just you start on Mark Ellis riding his bike,
Yeah.
ding ding ding,
Yeah.
and then just Camaro drives by real slowly. Sup, bike boy. Just fades off into the start of the
I just
show.
remember that time was so exciting. I really think that the fact that I was born later than everybody else in my grade was one of the founding reasons that I became a comic, or that I had that desire to make people laugh, because like you become a third wheel by trade, because if you're hanging out with Doug and his girlfriend, Jack and his girl, whoever, you're riding because, you know, we're away from our parents for the first time, and we don't have to have our parents drop us off places. So now it's just a bunch of kids hanging out, and you have to, there's like this intrinsic thing where you feel like you have to entertain because you're not contributing anything else. Right. Because if Jack is the guy driving, then he's contributing the driving. The female is there because maybe she's going to hook up with Jack at the end of the night. And then I'm there. Why? What is Mark's use there? You need to solidify why you're important. And I was like, well, I can make the kids laugh, and then they'll continue to laugh at me as I ride my bike home.
Yeah, that's how you become a comic. Yeah, I think I spent a lot of time on the playground alone, off on the far side of the soccer field, just alone, while all the kids played sports and everything. Eventually, I got into sports, but yeah, all the cute girls, which is, you know, what I'm interested in, were all off in the corner, not paying attention to me. And I'm like, well, what do I got? Well, and I remember in sixth grade, my teacher assigned us a parody we had to film a parody commercial on an old VHS recorder, and I did a commercial. I made the whole class laugh, and I was like, "Oh, got it. This is how I get forward."
There's nothing like making a classroom of students, of your peers, and hopefully the teacher too, laugh. And it's the weirdest thing, because now doing colleges is one of the hardest things to do, because Ken, you haven't done a college with me yet, have you?
No, I have not. I'm afraid to.
Ken, they're so young. They're so young. Like I think of myself like I am now, because I don't think I've matured much since my sophomore year of high school. That this is what I looked like back in high school, sans the beard. But no, they're so young that it feels like you're entertaining eighth graders. And it's just, and I did a post-prom party a couple times, and they look even younger. It's like you're doing stand-up for the Muppet Babies. They're so little, and you just don't realize how young you were when you were going through all these formative things that are now solidified in your brain.
You're doing it for Skeeter and Scooter, like the odd spinoff. Yeah, no, I know what you mean, man. Because again, look, I'm 43, and there's people who think that's old. It's not old. It is not old at all. And but you don't realize it until, like, we got some new kids crawling around the Schmodown, and the space, and you're talking to them. I'm like, great. Did your dad bring you here today? And they're like, I'm competing. I'm 30. Like, what?
One of them's nickname is the kid, and you're like. Yeah, you got him, you got Chance, you got Chandru, you got all these young bucks coming in, and it's like, where don't you have class? Like, what are you doing here? And no, they're just a lot younger than you. I mean, 43 is old to me, Ken.
Well, thank you. It's, I mean, look, it's oh, you feel it. I feel it when I wake up in the morning, but it's not old. It's so weird, and you won't know till you get there. You will not know till you get there. It is not old. It's kind of creepy. There's a great, I don't know if you know Robbie. Robbie's in your chat as Robbie's channel, and Robbie is a supporter of mine, and Robbie just told a great story. He says, this is his Y2K story. In my drag days, I fell off stage and landed on a bride-to-be hard. I'm a big dude. That's when I got sober. Robbie, I love Robbie so much. Just the image of a wonderful full-figured drag queen falling off the stage like boom is the Hangover comedy part 4 that I want to see. Robbie, you're the best.
I think it's a great test of a marriage, is that if your bride-to-be can handle that situation, you know that you guys are ride or dies for life. Robbie, welcome. Thank you for being here. Robbie's probably got better stories than you or I do.
Robbie's great. Follow Robbie's channel.
It's great seeing everybody in the chat, because I think that's the thing about our community too, is that especially when you do live shows, when, back when people were allowed to be in gatherings together, you see just so many different age groups and you see all these different things. And it's like, back when Christian and I started doing stuff on YouTube in like 2008, 2009, it was primarily there were some folks there that were of age, but it was a lot of like high school kids. And by the way, the thought of that terrifies me, that we were entertaining high school kids. But now you have all these people, like people in Vegas 2 weeks ago, coming up to you and me both saying, "Hey, I started following you guys when I was in high school." And it's like, Jesus Christ, how long have we been here for? Are we in purgatory?
Have you had those conversations with RB3 where you suddenly are reminded that he started listening to the Schmoes when he was 14 and used to call into the show? And I'm like, what was your mom doing, allowing you to listen to these idiots doing a podcast from La Brea and Hollywood while the producer drafted his fantasy football team live on air? Like, what were you doing?
But part of me feels bad for him, because when I was their age, I was watching, these YouTube hacks like Letterman and Leno.
Yeah.
And they're watching. When I was RB3's age, I would stay up late to watch Arsenio Hall, and he would stay up to watch us. Like, there's a bit of a difference there.
He's so smart. I don't know how he rose above us, and he is more talented than us. The Wangers are more talented than us.
Well, you and I were joking about that, is that really, as much as I might make fun of the fact that I want to be my mom's idiot son, at some point, you and I, Ken, are going to have to retire. And that's why we're nice to all these kids. That's the only reason. It's not that we actually like them. It's that, hey, RB3, can I stay in? Can Ken and I crash in one of your 5 mansions that you've made now that you are the new purveyor of the MCU?
Yeah, I have no qualms about admitting that, number one, they are talented. And
they're very nice people.
Yeah, they're very, very talented. But like RB3 and his directing partner, Cade Huseby, put me in their film timestamp that's still on the way out. And
President Belcourt.
No, that's stage 4. That's stage 4, the Wangers short.
You're in timestamp too?
I'm in timestamp. I'm one of the
Dude,
leads.
You're fucking roles left and right.
I am not an actor. The story I tell, I wanted to be. I thought I was a good actor back in the day, but then you get to LA. When I was in the Groundlings, I was in a scene with Kristen Wiig, and I wrote this scene, and Kristen on stage in front of a live audience got a huge laugh over a line that I did not intend to be a joke. And as this happens, she's such a good performer. Her character just made the scene. The crowd is laughing, and I'm on stage looking at her going, I can't do this. What am I doing? This is what am I doing? And I'm not an actor, but RB3 put me in the film, and he swears it's okay. But I told him, quite frankly, I want to be his Danny Aiello. I just want to be in all the movies he wants to make, and that's how I'll finish out my days.
That's good. I need to find. So if you're okay, then you know who I'm going to be?
Yeah.
I'm going to be his Greg Grunberg, Ken.
There you go. Snap Wexley himself. That's a great idea.
That's how we do it. That's how we make. That's how we continue to forge into this business. Is all these new and inventive, creative opportunities that you just keep working, kids, and you keep knocking, and hopefully opportunity reveals itself in one way or another. Maybe it's the dream job you always wanted. Maybe it's the love of your life, or maybe it's someone half your age that's going to put you in their short film that's going to blow you up into superstardom. But do we have speaking of timestamps, do we have a release date on timestamp yet?
I don't know. I don't quite know. I know they had some post-production, not issues or concerns, but just it took a little longer than expected. Reshoots. So they're fixing on some of that stuff. Shout out to my friend Barry Cohen, who's in chat. He's a recent Napzok Files guest. He says, "What up, Mark?" and Tex Tunney. Barry and I have been in a wrestling ring before. What's up, Barry?
Is that that's your wrestling moniker?
Tex Tunney was absolutely my one of my wrestling monikers. It was the one I did the most for about 5 years.
Do you have a current one? Like, is there a chance that we could ever see you in a match?
I did wrestle in a match. No, there's always a chance. Millennium Pro Wrestling came back. It's running weekly shows in Chatsworth, California. There's always a chance. I came back for an event last year and got in the ring with a guy named Pretty Peter Avalon. Got to deliver a stunner on him. It was the worst stunner in the history of wrestling, but he sold it like a champ. I'm most likely done, but it was a lot of fun. I started it in 2001. Worked. That's where I first met Barry, and worked. I know Frankie Kazarian. I know these names don't mean anything to you, Mark, but guys like Adam Pearce, Samoa Joe, Frankie Kazarian, Chris Daniels. Our first main event, or excuse me, our second main event was a match between John Cena, who was called the Prototype, and he was going to be paid about $25 for that show, and he had to pull out last minute. So that's when I started in wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been around a while.
It's one of my favorite things to do when a bunch of you folks start talking wrestling is just inject myself in the conversation with fake names like, oh yeah, and then when Suki the Burger wrestled the Snake Porter, like I don't know any of these.
Snake Porter. Oh, Snake Porter was the West Region Association champion in Texas in 1977. I don't know.
I see. We need to do something. There's got to be some way to raise money for somebody where it's like you, one night only, you versus Jay Washington, or you hyping Jay Washington, or you and Jay Washington as a team against BC by himself. Whatever we can do.
This is more than possible. I've actually talked to my friend who runs the company, and Jay is back working in wrestling locally, and BC can fly on out, and we have talked about that. There was a time, I'll reveal now, this was in the works, and I'm in some ways glad it didn't happen, but it would have been interesting. There was actually going to be a wrestling match pitting Grace versus Emma Fife, and I think Miss Movies was going to be involved, and we were going to do it at MPW. And
really?
we had talked. Christian kind of has met my friend before and everything, and we had actually started to work it out. They were going to go through some training. This was during like first season of Glow, and they were all interested in wrestling, and we were like out and out. We were all at a Staples Monday Night Raw event with it was like a promotional thing, right? And I don't know if you were there or not for that one. And my friend Paul was there, and we met, and we just kind of started talking. And Emma and Miss Movies and Grace had been watching the wrestlers, and I was like, we want to give it a go. And we're like, we can make this happen. So we had it booked, we had it planned, and then something happened. The show moved, we couldn't do it, and it didn't happen. So who knows? Maybe it could down the line.
Well, I tell you,
but after seeing the Schmodown live at Booker T's Arena. I kind of don't want Schmodown competitors in the ring.
For
it ain't easy, kids. It ain't easy.
No, the first thing I noticed, and I don't know if anybody out there watching or in the chat has ever like been actually in a wrestling or a boxing ring, the first thing that struck me when we got to Booker T's World Gym is I go up and we're kind of like doing our walkthroughs, like how Christian and I are going to get introduced and go into the ring and all this stuff. And going into the ring, I just did not realize how heavy the ropes are. And how, because like when you see like wrestlers throw each other into the rope or they bounce off, or even boxers get in the corner, it's the rope looks very flexible, malleable. It is a heavy rope. It is a thick rope. And as soon as I felt the rope, Ken, I was like, holy crap! I know I like making jokes about wrestling. These are athletes.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you, the first time you run the ropes, you get bruises. That's how hard they are. They're wire cable with just some tape around it, stretched as tight as possible. And of course, I think a lot of people know the ring is made of pretty much wood and metal, but the ropes, that's what people don't understand. The first time you get in, it's like, whoa, they don't give, it's especially nowadays. Back 25, 30 years ago, they were a little looser, but styles of wrestling have changed, and you need to kind of get up on the ropes easier, so they're a little harder. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember that tension. You had a lot of very game and even athletic guys. Ben, Roca,
A guy is just a natural athlete.
Yeah, and there was a lot of tension and stress that day, and they wanted to rehearse their spot, and the initial thought was to go through a table, and I've been through a table, and it doesn't necessarily hurt, but how you get through the table is key.
Yep. Yeah.
I've also been hit with a chair, been hit in the head. Adam Pearce, currently works for WWE, hit me with a chair so hard my head was swollen for about 3 weeks, and I had a big cut on top of my head. It's not a thing, but we went to rehearse, and you remember, I'm telling the story for the fans, but the first go around, they were just going to do a little gut check with the chair, and then the chair, a plastic chair over the top. easy spot. They go to rehearse it. Ben Bateman basically takes Andrew Guy's face off, blood coming down. And oh god, it was a mess. It was a mess. And I'm thinking, and I looked at BC, and I go, "What are we doing? What are we doing here?"
It's like I wish that I could have taken like you and BC and live deep faked y'all into Ben and Guy so that it people are used to it. But to their credit, Ben and Guy live with the crowd there and with the cameras on, I think they pulled off as well as they could. Not that I still don't ever encourage like the physical violence stunts and stuff like that in Schmoedown, just because to me it's never been worth the stress. Of going through it, but I'm just one person here. But Christian, to his credit, he had the table idea, and then I don't know if you remember this. We also practiced, or we were going to practice. I think somebody picked up a metal chair and said, "Ooh, this is going to sound a lot better." And Christian, I think before the monkeys in his head started turning the wheel, he looked at me, and I was like, "Dude, there's no way we're using a metal chair," and he agreed with me. So we got it down to a plastic chair, and the stunt got pulled off, and hopefully it's the last one.
Yeah, the spot did great, but I remember because they were gonna like choke slam Andrew through a table, and like that's a lot. That's a lot. And Brad Gilmore, who knows the business really well, is standing there, and we kind of pulled Christian off to the side at one point. We were like, maybe we don't do the table spot. Brad was like, and Brad's got to be responsible for the liability things in the arena. So yeah, I agree with you. But who knows? Maybe Jay Washington and BC, who are two trained professional wrestlers, we can maybe get them in the ring and do a Schmoedown event. That'd be fun. Would you be a guest ring announcer if we do that?
Well, here's the thing. I think I could pull off being a guest ring announcer, and I think that maybe the fans that are tuning in would want to hear me, but I'm not going to be the lead dog because I don't know what I'm doing. I think Brad Gilmore's great. I think Christian's great. I think that they can do it, and I can maybe do a pregame interview from my ringside seat with a number of cold ones, and I'm just going to enjoy watching this madness happen. On that note, Ken, I'm going to go refresh my beverage, so I'm going to ask you to take the reins for a minute, and when we come back, kids, this is what you call foreshadowing in your books, Ken, is you're going to have to pick which one you want to do a live opening of.
We're going to do the card game?
We're going to do the card game.
All right, you go refresh your drink. Mark Ellis is here, everybody. We're having a lot of fun hanging out. This is a lot of fun. Hey, I know things are stressful out there. I know things are disconcerting. There's confusion. I'm seeing people in the chat saying there's lockdowns happening in your neighborhood, your towns. Just keep your head on a swivel. Don't forget to not panic. Don't panic. And that doesn't mean don't be prepared. Doesn't mean don't pay attention to the news, real news. Find the actual sources. Go to CDC. Go to the World Health Organization. Go to PBS. PBS puts out news that's minus emotion. Go out and do that, and we're going to be okay. The Champs 2005 is a question. Says, Ken, are you excited? Oh, hear that sound. You excited for MLB The Show 2020? The Champs, I'm playing MLB The Show 2020 already. Been playing it. I've got my franchise mode, which has been going for 2 years. I'm in the year 2040. And I just started Road to the Show, and I am going to be putting that on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Ken Napzok. I'm also doing Lego builds on Twitch, so I think Sunday is going to be my next one. Having a lot of fun. Look at this, Mark. I did a test. I needed to test the stream. Look at this, what I built here. Look at that. You recognize that N1 little starfighter there? Woo,
oh, my God. You put that together?
On there.
Wow.
You got your drink, man. Count Druku's here. He's on my Twitch stream all the time too. Camshaft's here.
I'm gonna put it up there right now. First of all, Jerry Miller asked if I'm betraying the Spurs with my Raptors jersey. No, this is solidarity for all the folks in Canada who are worried about the same kind of thing. And good friend of the Schmoedown, my buddy who's a hilarious comic, Kareem, got me this the last time that I was in Toronto performing. He greeted me with the Raptor shirt, and he brought me a 6-pack of Coors Light, Canadian Coors Light. So it's like 10% alcohol, and he gave me the Raptors jersey. So that's the reason why. And not that I'm still a diehard Spurs fan. By the way, NBA TV right now, because there's no live sports, airing a lot of great classic basketball games, including I watched the Jordan game where he does against the Portland Trailblazers in the 92 finals. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. Ken, you brought up something that I was going to ask you is so you brought up playing MLB, the 2020, the show.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, have you made any kind of like crazy, I'm quarantined, I'm getting a little delirious purchases since then? Because I made one last night. and I want to compare mine against any that you might have done so far, or anybody in the chat room. Let me know. Have you been on Amazon and just like you're getting your toilet paper and your fruits and vegetables and all that stuff? Is there anything else that you bought just because you know you're going to be holed up for a little bit?
I went to a emergency supply company that I used to use when I was a public safety director, and I ordered a crap ton of EMT kits.
That's good.
I mean, it's
What I
apropos, right? But I don't necessarily need them, but I got a bunch of them. So if you need help, Ellis, I'll be on over with some sutures and some scissors, and I'll patch you up.
Okay, well, you're welcome to come over with your sutures and scissors.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to play my new old Nintendo Wii that I got used from Amazon,
Ooh.
I broke down last night and I got a used Nintendo Wii from Amazon, and I got Tiger Woods 2012, which is the one where you can play the Augusta National Golf Course. Ken,
I love that
said
one.
that if I can't watch the Masters, then I'm gonna play the freaking Masters
That's
myself.
great. That's great. Yeah. Oh, good call. I have a Nintendo 64. We can play GoldenEye. We can play some WCW versus NWO. But I love that. That's my favorite Tiger Woods year.
Yeah, I've never played that game before, and I like that the Wii makes you feel like you're doing something, at least getting out on a golf course. So maybe I'll hit a shot, and then I'll just pace in my apartment for 30 paces each way. It's like I'm walking, I'm like walking the course, but I'm very excited about that. Ken, is there anything that you've told yourself that for these weeks, however long this thing lasts, where we're practicing all these new precautions? Is there a new trade that you're going to try to learn, a new thing you're going to try? Is there anything that is going to expand to your personal repertoire?
I'm having to be a little bit more creative with cooking, which is a good thing, and that's kind of a simple answer to your fun question. But I'm already kind of the cook in the house, but I cook basic stuff. And now, we're all doing that pantry search where you're like, oh, I got rice and I think that's bratwurst. I don't know. So we're gonna figure that out. But I'm having a lot of fun doing that. But as far as trades, no, I'll keep going. I'm about ready to launch a baseball podcast, and I was going to do that anyways, but I am definitely going to do it, even though baseball's not around, because I'm going to have a lot of fun with it and kind of celebrate the sport I love and kind of give people entertainment. The only thing I'm really good at is just giving people a simple distraction while serious things are going on. That's all I can do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you and I have any designs on being anything other than rodeo clowns, while the rest of the people who are in charge, or hopefully the people that are making the real important decisions, try to do their best. And in the meantime, we can distract a small number of denizens from going crazy. So I think that's all anyone can ask of us, and that is the service we are happy to deliver. And man, if your name is Joshua Hercules Makuga, you could not have picked a better time. If you're looking for a silver lining, Josh's show, Eating History, and Ken, I got to ask the golden question here. After Eating History airs next Wednesday, or actually this Wednesday, in 6 days, March 25th, do the three of us do an After Eating History live show somewhere on the YouTubes?
I think we should. I think
you and I are going to have a bunch of questions to ask him about this stuff.
Yep. I think we should, and I think because here's the thing, we're so proud of Josh, but we talked about we recorded our afternoon show today via FaceTime actually, and it's
so he can figure that out. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be released tomorrow morning. But so I said this on the show, so it's a repeat. But what a perfect time to have a show that teaches you can eat food that lasts long.
It's good for so many reasons.
It's a prepper's dream. He and Old Smokey are gonna have fun. I'm so proud of Josh. We love him dearly, and he is made for this style of show. So I really want all the schmoes the old timers and the Schmodown fans and the afternooners and everyone and the Ellis heads. I want you all to come together next week and use that hashtag Eating History to really kind of rally around this show, so our boy Josh can feel the love, because he worked really hard on it. And Amanda had a sacrifice too. She's a survivor and an independent woman, but your husband's gone for 4 months and disrupts your life. And they got through it, and he worked so damn hard on that show. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, for Amanda, it got so tough for her that she actually had to go on a date with Mark Ellis to go see Bad Boys for Life.
It's the
So
best.
rough,
Well,
rough
and
time.
Amanda joined our podcast, and it was one of those like we were thinking of doing a rotating guest host. You're always welcome on the show, and it was like that. And I thought, Amanda's called on the show so much, people kind of love her. She's not a trained
Great.
podcaster, but let's bring her in, and it's turned out great. And Amanda's now a permanent fixture on the show.
And the last person we should probably raise a glass to. There's so many people doing great content out there right now. I mean, Christian keeping the lights on at SEN Live every day, and Brett Sheridan's joined him a number of times and had some other guests. So just thank you guys out there for supporting everybody who's doing this. And we hope we can come back and support you, even if it's just me Venmoing you $5 or $10 because you got a couple of trivia questions right. Saturday Night Trivia is happening on this channel. We'll probably do it about 7 or 8 p.m., so stay tuned for that. Speaking of trivia, I'm in touch with the powers that be at a trivia app called The Q. And The Q, it's like a daily kind of trivia thing where I'm going to be hosting some of their shows during this whole thing and maybe beyond. So stay tuned for that. I'll be tweeting you guys out all the info for all that stuff. But Ken, the last person we should probably raise a glass to before we do baseball card pack opening fun is Mr. Mark Riley and Julie Aguirre, his lovely fiance, who they can't get married on time, and that just gives him more time to decide who should be his real best man.
I thought I had the job. I guess it's still open up for
Only ball
competition.
game.
We've even had to cancel what was going to be the bachelor pad night.
What were we doing?
We were going to be going to dinner at the Smokehouse and then just going to the Comedy Store. Basically any other Saturday night, but it was with friends for the purpose of love.
I've never been to the Smokehouse.
Oh, well, if we survive the apocalypse, we got to get there regardless. Smokehouse is one of my favorite places in LA. Carson used to go there. Carson used to go there after the Tonight Show all the time.
I remember seeing that on the PBS documentary, which was fantastic about Johnny Carson. So the reason why I never went to the Smokehouse, for you kids not local to LA, the Smokehouse is this like kind of steak and chops restaurant that's right across the street from Warner Brothers, like literally right across the street from Warner Brothers Studios. Unfortunately, it's on the same side of the street, a half block away from this dive bar that used to be called the River Bottom, where they used to have a stand-up show that I did every Wednesday when I was doing my open mic days. And it was just death. And I don't know if you ever heard, did you ever do the River Bottom, Kim?
No. Is it now called Ciao Christina?
Yes, it is.
Yes. And they have an upstairs comedy show. Santini still does it. And no joke.
Comedy show.
Yeah, no joke. There was an escort service being run out of there.
I was going to say the upstairs, the rumors are in the River Bottom because a couple comics would finish their sets at the River Bottom, then go upstairs. I'm like, where are they going? And I didn't know. Apparently, they were running adult services out of there. So
100% true. Yep.
Yeah. Welcome
to follow up on your Mark and Julie. Really upsetting for them. They understand it. They're in a good headspace over it. But send your love to Mark and Julie. But as I told Mark in a text, and I say now publicly, love knows no date, and love's not going to go away, and it's going to work out okay. You never know the reasons for things, so you got to take that.
Yeah, but we appreciate y'all supporting us, and I think that everybody out there is well deserved of at least a chance to win $5, $10, $15, whatever it may be. Ken, Peggy Gubins won $15.
Ooh.
He got 3 in a row, and Bobby G also won 3 in a row. He got 3 questions correct. So Saturday Night Trivia, it's going to get hot, and you can win a copy of Ken's new book, Why We Love Star Wars. And Ken, did you watch the stream? I don't care if you did. I'm just curious.
I watched a little bit of your stream the other night. No, I don't normally support my friends, but I accidentally clicked on it. And I was trying to scroll past it to watch some ASMR, and then you came up, so I watched it.
So Kyle Harlow got a question right, and I asked some personal questions at the end. And I'm going to ask this to you now. Don't look at the chat. What is my favorite number?
Your favorite number? All right, I got to run through some number options. Dexter Manley, Daryl Green,
Number 72, no.
Joe Theismann, John Riggins, 44?
Half that, 22. Randolph Childress' number.
That's right. I forget about the basketball side.
Yeah.
Forget about the Wake Forest side. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you want to see my Cavs in person, you can do that in about 8 to 12 weeks. All right, kids. Here we go. Now's the most fun part of the show because Ken Napzok.
Okay.
And I have a game for this, by the way.
Okay.
I have a game for this. Yeah. Oh, I love what you're doing right now. Ken is not about to rob a store, kids. He's actually about to guess the player. I'm going to give him the name of the player from one of these packs of cards, and he has to guess the position that they played and which team they played for in either the years 1986, if he picks Don Russ, or 1989, if he picks Upper Deck. And Ken, the really fun thing about this is that in 1986, Jose Canseco was a rated rookie. And so that card, which used to be very valuable, now it's not worth that much, but it used to be very valuable and it was my number one sought after card as a kid, could be in this pack. I haven't opened it. Nobody knows. I've never seen one in person. I've never held a Jose Canseco rated rookie in person. If I do, I literally might cry. I'm not, this isn't a joke. I might weep. And in the 1989 Upper Deck pack, there could be a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card, which I've also
card number one. Okay. So
which pack do you want?
And I'm doing this so I cannot see. 100% you have to trust me, folks, just like you have to trust the government right now. I think I'm going to go with 89 Upper Deck.
89 Upper Deck it is.
I'm sorry. I know you want the Canseco. I just know 88 players a little bit better than 85 players.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. So there's 15 baseball cards inside here. So Ken's usual over-under is 10. Ken has to get 10 correct in order to win the game. Now, Ken, here's what we're going to offer you. Also in this pack of 1989 Upper Deck baseball cards is one 3D team logo hologram.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is offer you the option, if you want to, guess which league that team is from. If you get it correct, then you only have to get 8 right. If you get it wrong, you have to get 12 right. How's that sound?
Okay. So if I now is there anything on the line for anyone? Like, am I playing for anything, a cause or something?
I think that I'll put up a roll of toilet paper.
I like this. Okay. All right. Okay.
Pack has been opened.
Pack has been open. Oh, what a sweet sound. I love the sound of a baseball card pack being
open.
So smell the Upper Deck, because you don't smell the gum. You just kind of smell the future of card collecting. And it's a metallic. It's a metallic
a couple years
smell.
ago, for my birthday, I went on eBay.
Right.
I was a little drunk. I went on eBay and I got myself a couple wax boxes, unopened wax boxes of cards that I always wanted when I was a kid, but didn't have the money because I didn't mow enough lawns to get.
Right.
And they're actually like shockingly, disappointingly so affordable. And I'm like, I guess they're not worth much now, but they're worth a lot to me and people of a certain age. And Ken is right in there. So Ken,
I want a box of 86 Fleer. That was the year that was hard for me to collect, and that's a good year. Okay.
Okay, so do you want to guess the team hologram?
Yeah. Let's guess the hologram, and then that'll set the bar
higher
for me.
You think it's National League or American League?
I think you have pulled a team that is in the National League.
You are right, the San Francisco Giants.
Woo! So I only have to get eight correct to call this a win. Okay.
This is a layup. But as we know from watching basketball, not everybody makes the layups they need to. Need I bring up the Patrick Ewing game in the
right? So,
okay,
and to set the scene, you're going to give the name of the player from this 89 Upper Deck baseball card set. I have to guess the team and position or positions within reason. Mm-hmm. And that counts as correct. Name and incorrect position does not count, right? Or team and incorrect position does not count.
No, it's got to be both.
Okay.
It's got to be both.
Gotcha.
All right. Your first card is Steve Rosenberg.
Steve Rosenberg.
That's a tough one to kick off with.
Was he an MLB admin guy? Well, Steve Rosenberg. I'm going to say pitcher, White Sox.
This is how good he is. Yes.
Yeah?
He's a pitcher for the White Sox.
Nice.
And he kind of looks like Milhouse without his glasses.
Everything's coming up Milhouse.
Okay. Your next card is Keith Miller.
Keith Miller in 1989. He's a Met. And depending on this is where it sometimes gets fishy. You got to work with me here. Mm-hmm. He was a second baseman outfielder.
Yeah, Ken, I got good news for you. In 89 Upper Deck, at least for Keith, I don't know if they did this for all of them. They just put him as an infielder.
There you go. I hope that counts because, yeah, he played both, but yeah.
Of course it does. Yeah, you got it. His second base is in the infield.
Heir apparent maybe to Wally Backman, they thought.
Nobody is Wally Backman.
That's true.
All right, so your next one is the sweet, sweet beard. You and I combined couldn't grow this beard, of Jeff Reardon.
Oh, Jeff Reardon, one of the great closers of all time. 89 Upper Deck. Memory serves would show him as a pitcher for the Minnesota Twins.
Ken is 3 for 3. 3 for 3.
Nice.
Okay. This next one is probably going to make you 4 for 4 because it is a young man named Bobby Bonilla.
Bobby Bonilla, obviously an outfielder, 1989 Upper Deck would show him with the Pirates.
And what position?
Outfielder, yeah.
Ken, unfortunately, you're wrong. It says third base.
Oh,
Is it a bad call? Or
that's
is it...
a bad call on Upper Deck there, but I'll stand by the ruling. That's a bad call.
It says third base. Did you want to use one of your challenges?
Nah, I mean, come on. It's Bobby Bonilla, third base, left fielder. He played left field for the Mets. I'll accept the ruling. Is
your manager Grace there? Does she want a challenge?
She's not home tonight. She's at her sister's house. So she's safe. She's not mixing with the public.
Oh, wow. Ken is getting drunk tonight. Okay, our collector's choice, I'm going to count as a card, is Mr. Fred McGriff.
Fred McGriff, 1989 Upper Deck, first baseman. We'll say that. 1989 Upper Deck should show him on the Toronto Blue Jays because the trade with the Padres happened later. So first baseman, Blue Jays.
Ken's no longer perfect, but he is 4 for 5. Right. So he is crushing it thus far.
I can't believe the Bonilla thing. Oh God, that pisses me off.
Okay, Ken, your next card is John Franco.
John Franco was a pitcher, left-handed relief pitcher. Now here I got to check some things. So Franco, 89 Upper Deck, would show him with the Cincinnati Reds.
Ken is 5 for 6.
Okay.
And
he joined the Mets like 89 or 90, so
he is feeling it. I mean, this is like Sean Kemp NBA Jam, what we're looking at right now.
I don't have any children.
Okay. This next card looks more like a headshot than an actual baseball card, but it is Dennis Cook. What do you got?
Oh, Dennis Cook. Oh, God. Dennis Cook was a pitcher. But 1989 Upper Deck. Oh, I'm probably going to miss this. He played for a lot of teams. I'm going to say 1989 Upper Deck. Rangers?
Looking for the Giants.
All right.
The San Francisco baseball Giants.
He moved around, but that's right.
All right. So you're 5 for 7.
5 for 7. Okay. Need to get to 8. Okay.
5 for 7. Okay. I think you should be okay with this next one.
You said that about Bonilla, but he's dancing around the infield.
Rick Shue.
Rick Shue. Well, Rick Shue was a third baseman.
Yeah.
He 89 Upper Deck. This is where it gets tricky. It's either Phillies or Twins. Maybe Orioles. Maybe Orioles. I'm gonna say.
I wish you could see me smiling right now.
89 Upper Deck is 89 Orioles.
That's why I'm smiling. It is.
Really?
It is. I remember Rick Shue. This is like a lot of people are watching a lot of shows now. I watched every Orioles baseball game for a period of years. I went through the end of the Eddie Murray era. Mickey Tettleton hit a bunch of home runs into the Brady Anderson run, where Brady Anderson was not on steroids. He was a pioneer in the world of creatine. It's very different.
Yeah, very different. Shue, what was interesting about Shue was considered the heir apparent to Mike Schmidt, and that didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And he found himself around the organizations, Orioles, Twins, and everything. So
it was a big story for us. I remember we were excited when we found out the Philadelphia guy was coming to play for the O's. So
6. I got 6 right. Okay.
You're 6 for 8.
Okay.
Is that right?
I think so. Kyle Harlow's probably keeping score in the chat. I can't see right now, but
Yeah, you're 6 for 8.
okay.
All right. Next
Is this
one.
good? Is this good entertainment, or are the people liking this? I can't tell.
We'll reassess once people are allowed outside again. For right now, they're loving it.
Okay. I love doing this. Okay.
Next card, Bill Schrader.
Bill Schrader, 1989 Upper Deck, would show him as a catcher with the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, and I got to show you guys. I mean, Ken, I'll show you this after you can look at that hunk. That guy looks like Ken. He looks like he's in the same picture as Ewan Makuga at Maria Menounos' party.
Totally. He caught Juan Nieves' no-hitter in April of 1987. Light hitting catcher, but good-looking man. You know.
Oh yeah. Yes, he was.
Strapping.
All right, your next question.
This could be for a win, but we'll play to the end of the pack. Okay.
You're right. You're a 7 for 9. This might be a tough one. Don't know this guy. Juan Nieves or Nieves?
Juan Nieves. That's who I just said. He was a pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers.
All right. Ken is now at that magic number.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Yeah, he threw a no-hitter in 1987. Won 14 ball games, I think, in 87.
Oh. So I got the guy that caught it, then the pitcher?
Yeah, and you got the pitcher right after. 88, he played with the Brewers, and I think he was done. Whatever happened, injury, whatever. And I think at one point, Juan Nieves got strung up on murder charges. I swear to God. I think
Did he really?
He only played 3 years in the MLB, but 87, he threw a no-hitter in April. You can watch it on MLB The Vault. Last out of the game was Robin Yount doing this big dive in center field for the out. There was a no-hitter. But, yeah, that was it. So that card was from a season he didn't even play.
Says on the card, tossed the first. It was the first Brewer no-hitter in history. Do you know what team he beat 7-0 that day?
Baltimore Orioles.
It was the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
One of our few L's. All right. This next one, and now we're just trying to set a record here. I think you're going to get this one.
Okay.
Because it's my last name, and his last name is Burks.
Ellis Burks, outfielder, Red Sox.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Later on, he'd go to the Rockies. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're what? Is that 10?
That's 9.
No, that's 9.
I think that's 9.
9 for 11. All right. I think the all-time record's 12.
Yeah, I think it was 12. Yeah.
Okay. So your next one, Junior Ortiz.
Oh, Junior Ortiz was a catcher. 1989 Upper Deck, I believe, will show him on the Pirates.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ken is within striking distance.
Why can't the Schmodown be this? I'll defeat Roca, Merle, Bateman. I'll defeat them all if this is what the Schmodown is.
Well, I think sadly we're coming down to the end of the pack, and so we're not sure if we're going to get that Griffey Jr. card or not. But this next one is named Daryl Miller.
Daryl Miller was a catcher, outfielder. He played some first base. I'm going to ask for some mercy on that, but he was mostly a catcher. There should show him for the California Angels. His sister was I think ended up in the WNBA. She was a pretty famous basketball player. I think Cheryl Miller was her name. Yeah.
Wait. This guy's related to Reggie Miller?
Yeah, I think so. Daryl Miller. Yeah. Am I right? He's a catcher. He was like catcher for the Angels.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And his that would make Reggie Miller. But his sister was Cheryl Miller. I remember that. Yeah.
Then his brother's Reggie Miller.
There you go.
Holy, he was born in DC in 59. Does that make that check out 30?
Yeah. He was like a third string, second string catcher for Angels. I think he maybe played for the Rangers a little bit later on, but he didn't have a long career. But yeah. He was on
this is for you, Kristen Smith. Okay. There we go. I'm learning stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Ken. Your penultimate question in this round.
Mm-hmm.
This could take you to 12.
Okay.
Casey Candale?
Casey Candele. Casey Candel, actually, I think is the
looks like Matt Eisman.
Yeah, Casey Candel. He was a infield outfielder, but primarily second baseman. 89 Upper Deck should show him for the Montreal Expos.
Looking for the Astros. Looking for the Astros. He's playing
yeah,
for the
but
Astros
all
in
right. How
first
about a
place.
bonus? How about a bonus? I think his place of birth, if you flip it on the back, is Lompoc, California, or Santa Maria, California.
Lompoc, California.
Lompoc, California. He was from my neck of the
Wow.
woods. Yeah.
All
That's
right.
right. Yeah, he started with the Expos. He ended up with the Astros.
So
All right.
now you need this one to tie.
Okay. This is the last
You're
card in the
11.
pack. Okay.
You're 11 for 14
Mm-hmm.
to go to 12 to 15. Ken, I have some really bad news for you.
Uh-oh.
I need you to take your thing off.
Okay.
I need you to actually look at what this is. This is
a checklist.
This is how they used to cock block us kids. Is you save up all that money for an upper deck pack, and you think you're in 15 cards. You only get 14 cards, and you get a checklist that it's worth. It's like a land in Magic the Gathering. It doesn't mean anything.
That's crazy. Well, yeah. What are you gonna do? I feel proud of my efforts here. I feel cheated by the checklist, and I feel cheated we didn't get that Griffey.
That Bobby Bonilla is pretty tough. So I'll tell you what, guys.
I'm upset, but here's the thing. This is why I accept the ruling. This is why I'm upset at myself. Bonilla did end up in the outfield. He actually, true story, he was coming out of spring training in 2001 as the Cardinals left fielder, got hurt. They put in a kid, made the team, named Albert Pujols, who played a lot of left field, first for them. And
really?
Bonilla's injury is how Pujols got up to the major leagues a little bit earlier than expected. So he ended up in the outfield, but Bonds was the left fielder for the Pirates. I should have remembered that. Van Slyken center. And Bonilla was at third, and he would do that weird dance. He'd do the leg hop before each pitch, and they'd highlight that. It was like a little thing. So that's my fault.
Well, can everybody in the chat just do one of these for the incredibly brave performance of – he should be in the law office of Murdoch and Froggy or whoever the other guy's name is, because he looked like Daredevil, like season 1 Daredevil, but he got 11 for 14, we'll say, and we'll figure out a way to get a card. Now, Ken, here's what I really want to do.
Yeah.
You know how bad I want that Jose Canseco rookie. Like, I even kind of want to see if I can
seal it. Do what the card shop owners used to do and like unseal it, take what you want, put in a dumb card, and seal it back up.
Yeah, us dumb kids didn't know any better. We didn't know any better.
The industry was a sham in the late 80s. If you watch that documentary by Stu Stone, who actually worked in wrestling locally, and he was a child actor and a rapper.
Ryan Satin told me about that documentary.
Yeah, Stone worked in wrestling. He's friends with Johnny LaQuasto, too. It's a pretty interesting documentary. It gets in some personal family stuff, but it exposes that the card collecting business in the late 80s was a fraud.
Yeah.
It's crazy. By the way, have you watched that series McMillions on HBO?
I have. I was so excited for it, and I watched episode 1 and was flabbergasted and loved every second of it. And then I don't know if it was the edible kicking in, but episode 2 on, I just got a little bored. Am I wrong?
Really? No, it changes tone. First episode's really fun. That Detective Matthews is great, and he pops back up. But it gets into some serious stuff. In episodes 3 and 4, Grace and I are watching episode 5 a little bit later tonight. Episodes 3 or 4, like you kind of get some teary eyes. Like it takes a different tone. So you're not necessarily wrong.
Well, no, I mean, as you know, I'm a very busy guy. So yes. I think now might be the time to watch those documentaries. And I was a little bored. Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Have you all watched the ZZ Top documentary?
That's next on my list for docs when Grace is not home.
Oh, dude, watch it tonight. Get yourself another one of those non-waters and enjoy it. It is great.
Yeah. Did I cut you off? Were you going to open up that pack to see if you get a Canseco? What were you going to do?
No. What are you doing to me right now? Twist my no. What I was going to say is that if I think I can hold out for 2 more nights. Okay. So I think that Saturday night we'll do some trivia. We'll give away some money. I'll give away some money. Ken's going to join me for the broadcast. Maybe we get a Makuga. Maybe we get another special guest. Who knows? And then at the end of the show, we will close it out by opening the Donruss pack. We'll play the game with Ken, but I just want to spitball this with you, Ken, because I have an idea. If we're joined by Josh Makuga too. Yeah. I have an idea as to how we play.
What's that?
So Makuga can compete. So each one of y'all start out with 3 points. Okay.
Okay.
The goal is to get as many points as you can. If you get to 0 points, you lose. So here's the thing. I would say a name like, for instance, Steve Rosenberg. Mm-hmm. And you can say Ken, or you can say Josh can say Josh. And if you think you know it and you get it right, then you get a point. If you miss it, you lose a point.
Okay.
And if you get down to 0 points, then you're wiped out from the game.
Okay.
So I think that might make it a little more competitive. Or we can just give Josh a handicap. How do you want to do it?
I think I think we're on the same. You talk about card packs?
Yeah.
Give him a. I thought you were just doing. Yeah, give him a handicap. He doesn't know the 85 rosters of Major League Baseball as much as me, but I think he knows enough.
Okay. Well, yeah. So what we'll do for the actual trivia is, I'm thinking right now, Ken and I are the announcers. I'll ask the questions.
Yeah.
Ken is going to do color commentary, and Josh is going to be our sort of on-field reporter. He's going to be looking in the chat room, monitoring stuff, and it's most of the show is the banter between us anyway. And then occasionally a question happens. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think y'all are going to enjoy it, and keep an eye open on my Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff tomorrow, because I might start doing this new trivia app that you can play along with and win real money on your phone too. So we do have some stuff cooking for you, even in these weird, strange days. Yep. We do have stuff for you, and y'all love watching our content anyway. And hopefully you can continue to do that from the comfort of your own home as you are away from the people that you're friends with, or maybe even loved ones, but you get to hang out with us. So Ken, final word goes to you.
I'm sorry that you have to hang out with us, but we're happy to be here with all of you. Now, what I love is getting to know these names, the Tamors in the chats, Haskell, Cam Shaft's been great tonight, Kyle Harlow, all these people, Robbie, J-Dog. We really do love the community that you guys have formed around us. It means a lot, even though, we are kind of like the Eagles in '80. The band goes and plays different shows, and we're not all playing concerts together from the old Schmoes days, but we're all still in your hearts, and it means a lot. I know these are tough times, and meaning in the sense of there's a lot of confusion. We just don't know. And as lockdowns and safe at home orders start coming across the country right now, don't fret. Listen to all those words. The words expected, could be, we're looking at, possibly aren't yet full facts and data. We could do this. We can turn this stuff around. And sometimes things are put in place because of things you don't know and you don't need to know. Just trust it. Just trust things and keep your head on a swivel and reach out and check on the people you care about. We've been doing that here. I was talking to our good friend Tiffany Smith. You know what Tiffany's been doing? She probably hates that I'll say this. Tiffany's very private. She's been doing runs for people in her apartment complex who are older. She's been going out to the stores and getting stuff for them.
Oh my gosh!
And that's
kind
of
the best.
Yeah, and that's kind of the stuff I've been texting a lot of my friends too, and saying, if you need me to go out, my life's worthless. I'll go out for you. No, it's going to be fine, because again, it's not so much the virus. It could kill. It could hurt. Could do serious things. We don't know, but it's not so much the virus. It's what's the breakdown of society can be scaring. So do your part to keep it going, and appreciate you guys opening up your hearts for us right now.
Well said by Ken Napzok. Thanks to everybody watching in the chat room. And I saw one young man in the chat room. I think his name was Josh McCouga. I think he's going places. So keep an eye on that young buck, and maybe you're running low on cereal, maybe you're running low on fresh meat, but don't worry, we have plenty of supplies here at the Mark Ellis Show, because I got so many of these babies lined up and ready to go for your entertainment. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you in a couple nights for Mark's virtual bar trivia. For Ken Napzok, I'm Mark Ellis, the dog stepfather, baby carrots, and we will see you in 2 mañanas.